you do the pledge?
I had it last weekend.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So would everybody please remove your hats and stand for the pledge? And Councilwoman McDonough, would you lead us this evening?
Sure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember all of the men and women who's fought and is fighting for our freedom. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Okay, once again, thank you all for attending this evening's meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, and thank you all at home for watching this meeting. Today's date is Tuesday, November 21st, 2017, and tonight's Town Board meeting is a work session. But before we start the work session, we have two public hearings. One is a continuation of a public hearing on a proposed local law amending Chapter 15676 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Wireless Telecommunication Equipment and Devices. The second public hearing is on a proposed local law amending Chapter 137 of the Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Taxation. So before we get started with that, we're just going to announce that all Town Board members are present this evening, as is our Town Clerk, Ann Spofford, all the way down to my right, and all the way down to my left is Greg Fulchetti. He's the Carmel Town Council. So the first item on the agenda, once again, is the continuation of the public hearing on the proposed local law in regards to the wireless telecommunication equipment and devices. Is there any members of the public that are here tonight that would like to comment on this public hearing, number one? Okay. There being none, I'm going to need a motion then to close.
So moved.
Okay, this was, public hearing is so moved, closed by Councilman Lombardi. Who's going to second it?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schneider. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that public hearing is closed. So with that, 1A on your agenda this evening is the environmental assessment review for the proposed wireless telecommunications and equipment devices. So 1A is, Counselor, are you going to bring us through 1A?
Yes. If you look at your backup, there's a long-form environmental assessment form that was prepared in connection with the draft law. And then part one is completed. Part two is generally what I will take you through, and it's the second is a 10-page document on the second half of your backup. And if you look at start on page 1 of 10, the heading is part 2, identification of potential project impacts. And if you turn to that, I'll just go through the questions and you can answer them as you see fit. Number 1, will the proposed action involve any construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of any proposed site?
No. No.
I have to turn the page. This is the long form, so the questions are spread out with the subcategories if needed. Will the proposed action result in the modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique, unusual land forms on the site?
No.
Will the proposed action affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies?
No.
4, will the proposed action result in any new or additional use of groundwater or have the potential to introduce contaminants into groundwater or an aquifer?
No.
5, will the proposed action result in development of land subject to flooding?
No.
6, will the proposed action include a state-regulated air emission source?
No.
7, will the proposed action result in the loss of flora or fauna?
No.
8, will the proposed action impact agricultural resources?
No.
9, will the land use of the proposed action, is the land use of the proposed action obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project or a scenic or aesthetic resource?
No.
Will the proposed action, 10, will the proposed action occur in an or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource?
No.
11, will the proposed action result in the loss of recreational opportunities or reduction of open space resource as designated on any adopted municipal open space plans?
No.
12, will the proposed action be located within or adjacent to a critical environmental area or CEA?
No.
Okay. 13, will the proposed action result in a change to existing transportation systems?
No.
14, will the proposed action cause an increase in any use or form of energy?
No.
15, will the proposed action result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting?
No.
16, will the proposed action have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants?
No.
17, will the proposed action, is the proposed action consistent with adopted use plans? Is it consistent or is it not, is it not consistent with adopted use plans? It's a tricky question. Okay.
Yeah, it is a tricky question.
I don't write the forms. I mean, this is the DEC form.
Guessing the right answer is no?
No.
Correct. I mean, that, if you believe that it's consistent with the adopted use plans, then the answer will be
Right.
no. Is the proposed action consistent with the existing community character?
Inconsistent, no.
Inconsistent, no.
No. I got no? Okay. So that's the conclusion of part 2 of the form. If you wish, then you can consider making a secret determination, which is drafted on 1C, and there's a resolution and a backup form. The board's inclined to do that.
All right. 1B, Greg?
1B is
1B?
the seeker.
Sorry, it's 1B, yep.
1B? Okay. All right. So, 1B, that's going to be read by a town board member, Greg? 1B?
It's in the form of a resolution.
Form of
so-
resolution. Okay. Councilman Schneider, would you read 1B, please?
Sure, this is a resolution making negative determination under New York State Environmental Quality Review, or SEQR, in regard to Town of Carmel Wireless Communications local law. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has reviewed the full environmental assessment form, attachments prepared and submitted by Town Planning Consultant Patrick Cleary in regards to the proposed passage of a local law regulating wireless communications facilities, towers, and antennae within the Town of Carmel, and whereas this local law has been developed to promote the health, safety, general welfare of the persons and property of the Town of Carmel, whereas the project is defined as an unlisted action, and whereas the Town Board has reviewed the full environmental assessment form, and assess the projected impacts of their magnitude on the environment in accordance with the SEQR regulations and given due consideration thereto. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Part 617 of the SEQR regulations, the Town of Carmel Town Board hereby designates its intention to serve as lead agency for the SEQR review of this unlisted action, and in this capacity will conduct an uncoordinated review. Be it further resolved that pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulation pertaining to Article 8 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act of the Environmental Conservation Law, the lead agency has determined that the proposed unlisted action will not have a significant effect on the environment, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby determines that based on the information contained in the full environmental assessment form and their analysis thereof, the proposed project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts under the SEQR regulations, and for the reasons enumerated in the attached negative declaration form, hereby adopts a negative declaration in regard to the proposed action. I offer this resolution as read.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough? Councilman Lombardi? Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, 1C on the agenda is to consider a motion to enact the law. What would the law number be?
6.
Number 6? Okay.
I'll make that motion to enact this as law number 6,
As noticed and published?
as noticed
And published.
and published.
And I'll second that.
Councilman Lupinacci made the motion, as noticed and published, seconded by Councilman Schneider. This is to enact the local law. Ann, would you please read the roll call vote?
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough? Councilman Lombardi? Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, so that law has been enacted by the town board. Okay, the second public hearing, this public hearing is new. It wasn't held open. So I'm going to ask the town clerk to please read the notice of the public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel will conduct a public hearing at the Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541, on Tuesday, November 21st, 2017, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter that evening as possible, on a proposed local law amending Chapter 137 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Taxation, At said public hearing, all interested persons shall be heard on the subject thereof. The town board will make every effort to assure that the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk by order of the town board of the town of Carmel, Ann Spofford, town clerk.
Okay, thank you, Ann, for the reading of the notice of the public hearing. At this time, I'm going to need a motion from the town board to open the public hearing.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Schneider, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the public hearing is now open on this proposed local law amending Chapter 137 of the Town Code entitled Taxation. This is for the Cold War Veterans exemption for that the Assessor's Office will be handling and processing going forward, but we had to enact the local law in order for the Cold War veterans. I believe it was from 1945, if I'm correct, Greg?
Through Desert
Storm.
And what happened was that you enacted it about 10 years ago, but it had a sunset, and the legislature modified Section 458B to allow the towns or the municipalities by a local law or by resolution to remove the 10-year cap on it. So the first roll that you would have had it where the eligible benefits would not be available would have been the 2018 roll. So the assessor asked the board to consider passing it before the end of this year so that when the roll is prepared, the eligible properties and the eligible individuals can get the exemption. So that particular local law that you have here tonight does have the provision that it's being modified to basically take any eligible property and any eligible individual for the life of their ownership is entitled to the exemption.
The exemption, okay, great. So this is a veterans exemption that we're, regarding this local law that we're going to be adopting tonight. Is there any members of the public that would like to come up and speak regarding the code, the amendment of the code to include this exemption? Okay, there being none, I need town board members to close the public hearing. Motion to close by Councilman
Second.
Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so we're going to move on to 2A on the agenda, and this is to consider the resolution determining the secret review for the, this town code amendment. So, Counselor?
This is a type 2.
There's no secrets, a type,
There's no further review necessary with this type of action.
okay.
So the board can consider a type 2 resolution that disposes of secret at this time.
Okay. All right, so 2A is a resolution making the secret determination in regard to the proposed local law of the Town Code, Chapter 137, entitled Taxation. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 2A, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby determines that proposed local law number 7 of 2017 concerning certain miscellaneous additions and amendments to the Town of Carmel Code, Chapter 137, entitled Taxation is a Type 2 action under seeker, and no further review is necessary. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci.
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough. Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. So that local law has been adopted also, amending Chapter 137. All right, moving on, we do have one resolution.
We did this.
You have to,
We
Oh,
have
I'm
to
sorry.
amend- We have to,
Yeah, we have to make a motion to
so moved.
enact,
Oh,
correct?
fair enough, as noticed and published.
as noticed in the published.
There's no, yeah.
As noticed and published. Second?
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci and Councilwoman McDonough. I guess we're going to have to do the roll call vote again, Ann. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
All right.
Councilman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci.
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough. Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, the Chief of Police, Mike Kazari, has requested that we act on, it's a time-sensitive resolution in regards to, one of our patrol cars was damaged during the, couple of weeks ago during the flooding condition when we had a significant amount of rain, and it needs a new motor. The motor is bad in the car due to the officer was responding to a call and incurred a flooding condition that they were not aware of, and it caused the motor to suck up water through the intake into the engine, and that's not good for motors, so it caused the motor to seize. So the car needs a new motor, new engine. So that's what the chief is asking us for permission to go out and fund the cost of a new motor for the 2013 Chevy Caprice police vehicle number 34. So, John, Councilman Lupinacci, would you read resolution number 1?
You just read it, but sure. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the Police Department, Carmel Police Department, and upon the recommendation of Police Chief Michael Kazari, hereby accepts the proposal number 35710 from Meadowlands of Carmel, Carmel, New York, dated November 14, 2017, for the purchase of an engine for police vehicle number 34, 2013 Chevrolet Caprice, at a cost not to exceed $5,400, and be it further resolved, the town supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentations necessary to authorize the actions contained herein, and be it further resolved that the town comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers and modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
And what he said,
And what
what the guy to my right said.
what Kenny said before.
Second? Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci.
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi. Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. And I also want to mention that we have contacted the town's insurance company, its main agency. This could be a NYMER claim through our casualty insurance, so we may be able to recover some of this. We filed, the claim has been filed, we're just waiting for an answer from the insurance company, but this amount may be covered back through insurance, through the town's casualty policy, so. All right, so that completes the public hearings and the one resolution, or the voting meeting tonight. So I need a motion to close the public hearings and the special voting meeting.
Second.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All right, I need a motion now to open the town board work session.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Aye.
I'm sorry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right. So, okay, the work session is now open. The first item on the work session, Kenny Clare is here. Hi, Kenny. He's the acting commissioner of the Putnam County Bureau of Emergency Services. This is a discussion of mutual aid agreement with the various town of Carmel fire protection districts and fire district up in the hamlet of Carmel. So Ken, you can come up, either come up here or come up to the podium. Either way, you want to sit or you want to stand? Okay. All right. Kenny, just go through briefly what this is about, and how this involves the fire departments within the town of Carmel.
All right, so as you know, we're required by law, New York State County Law 225, to come up with a county mutual aid plan. We're also required by New York State Office of Fire Prevention and Control to come up with a plan and submit it. So our fire advisory board came up with what we believe is a great county mutual aid, fire and EMS mutual aid plan. The fire advisory board is made up of the 13 fire departments, 4 ambulance corps, the commissioner at the time, which was Commissioner Sutton, and myself and Deputy Lipton, worked with the fire advisory board. The fire advisory board is made up, like I said, the 13 departments, so it's made up of the fire chiefs or their representatives. They worked long and hard on it. This was Commissioner Sutton's actually baby here. The last mutual aid plan, the county mutual aid plan, was 2006 and 2009, so as you can tell, it really needed to be upgraded. Basically, we're waiting on the town of Carmel to sign off on this with the other 3 departments, which includes Mahopac Falls, Mahopac, and Carmel.
Okay, are we the only town in Putnam County that you're waiting on?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Well, we have that distinction, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and the reason why we haven't signed off on it yet or agreed to it was there were some concerns that were expressed to the town board from at least one of the departments, and they're here tonight. They're represented here by Chief Boyle from the Falls Fire Department. There were some concerns that were shared with us, and I just want to make sure that those concerns that were shared with us by one of your higher-ranking members, has that been resolved? Has that been answered?
Yes, sir, it's been resolved. I spoke to the commissioner right before the meeting. He gave clarification on the
On what that concern, so that was cleared up? that concern, so it's, all right, so it's resolved. And who do we have from Mahopac here tonight, Ray? All right, were there any other open issues or concerns that Mahopac has?
No, we signed the plan already.
You did. You signed off on it. And we have Chief Hengel here from Carmel Fire Department.
Yeah, that would be the Carmel Fire District, that would be Commissioner Bean. I know he knew about the meeting, but if he's got any concerns, I'm sure that his attorney will be reaching out. But the fire district has to sign it on behalf of Carmel.
All right, but the protection district is,
We
or you
don't-
can't comment on it.
We can't, we don't
Got
have
it.
we don't have any authority to sign a mutual aid plan. It's gotta be the fire district.
The district. Ann, did we receive anything from Bon Behan? We haven't. Okay. All right, he knew about the meeting tonight. Yes, he did. He was aware of it, you know, so he could have attended and commented tonight as well, so. Town board?
Yeah, sorry, I still have some questions. But it's probably the same questions I had the last time. Some of my concerns are, and I think, first of all, it's a great idea that we all work together for the safety of everybody in the community. But some of my concerns were, when you go to E, the amending of the plan, this plan seems like it can be, according to the way I'm reading it, it's at the sole discretion of the commissioner. And I'm worried if that's considered also as the financial part of it as well, because from reading through all of this, is that, and I could be wrong, and that's why I'm asking for your clarification. On one of them, I think it was N, the town, or in this case, the individual fire departments, are responsible for the replacement, the repairs, and the maintenance of, I don't know if it was just the communication aspect of it at all, but I just wanted to get some clarification on that, because I just want to make sure that the fire departments, and then in turn, the town knows about it, because if they're going to have to up their budgets because of having to repair, replace, or maintain some of the equipment, it's going to affect everybody's budget. So that was one of my concerns. Another one in L with the liability, H-I-J-K-L, let me see, the liability, responsibility, and reimbursement. Hopefully, no fireman or firewoman will ever get hurt in any of the fires. But if they do, is the county going to additionally insure the firemen and women, or does it come back to the individual towns and individual fire departments?
It's normally individual fire departments, because
Right.
every fire department has workman's comp
Right,
or life insurance on those firefighters.
but if there's no, you guys can't additionally insure them?
No, because the fire departments don't belong to the county. They belong to each town.
But if it's a county, and this is why I
Countywide,
guess why
it's a
I'm
countywide
kind
mutual
of,
aid plan, which makes up all the fire departments and the ambulance corps. It's allowing them all to participate mutual aid to each other.
yep,
It allows the fire departments to participate, standing by in other fire departments, allowing their manpower and equipment and/or apparatus and buildings to participate in the mutual aid plan. So really, nothing has changed from 2006, 2009. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Commissioner Sutton actually really tweaked this, but what has really changed is the more we've updated the mutual aid plan as far as qualifications of what a firefighter should be qualified to do when they are coming to your town, fighting a fire. We want to make sure that they are responding with the appropriate manpower,
Yep.
appropriate apparatus, that the firefighters are trained, that they have the proper courses. And that's really what this is all about. It's more tweaked on that. I don't know if you have any, you want to add,
yeah, no,
Commissioner
yeah, I
Sutton?
read that, because like, that's why I'm glad, like, all the fire chiefs read through this, because that's their expertise. But I'm just a little bit concerned, is it true in N that the fire department and/or the towns, in retrospect, if we do the budget, that the fire department's gonna be responsible if the equipment breaks, maintains, repairs, and replaces? And if you know, how much is that?
Absolutely.
The way it's structured in the state of New York is a hierarchy.
Tony, I'm sorry, can you come up to the mic, please, because they're not going to be able to hear you at home. Or is there another chair there?
You can sit right here.
7
So So as Ken mentioned, I guess, my name is Tony Sutton. I was the Commissioner of Emergency Services in Putnam. I retired a few months ago, and I'm, in full disclosure, have been retained as a consultant for a period of time to help with the transition at the department. So the history here is that in the state of New York, the general municipal law clearly defines when you're summoned mutual aid to another community, that the firefighters who go there are covered under their department's workers' comp or volunteer firefighter benefit law. The equipment that they bring with them is covered by the requesting department. So for instance, if there was a building collapse and there was a piece of equipment operating in close proximity to that building, then those losses would be covered by the agency that requested them to come in. In history here, the Fire Advisory Board, one of their primary charges is to create the Fire Mutual Aid Plan with the Office of the Commissioner and to annually review it, make any minor tweaks to it that may be necessary. And if there's a substantive change to the plan, then it has to go back to all the participants again and get reviewed. So right now, we're in the policy, and the membership, as Ken said, of the Fire Advisory Board are the chiefs or their designees. So the chiefs actually were the ones that kind of reviewed it and okayed every bit of it all the way through the process. That's what brought us to the point where we are. We're going to get the review of the departments, to get them to sign off, get the towns to sign off, go to the Board of Legislators, have them formally adopt it, submit the plan to the OFDC, to the State Office of Fire Prevention and Control, have them sign off on it. But they've had eyes on it, you know, periodically as it was being developed. So we hope to have that done. So to give you an idea, when any event overpowers or exhausts the local resources, you call in mutual aid, and it grows and grows and grows. If there's, like during the ice storms upstate New York, there were a lot of departments that went mutual aid up into the North Country.
Oh, sure.
With chainsaws and you know, pumps and things like that to help out up there. So but this sets the framework of who's got the financial responsibility and the liability for the actions taken by the participants in the plan.
Right, but what I'm trying to get at is in the end, it's saying that the individual agencies, which I'm assuming is the fire departments.
Correct.
Okay, have been responsible for all maintenance, repair, and replacement of that transferred communications gear in its possession. I just kind of want to know, like, what is the maintenance, repair, and replacement costs for these? Just so they have some kind of idea, because if they need to put it in their budget, like say Mahopac Falls Carmel needs to put it in their budget, then they can be ready to put it in their budget for next year. But if they don't know an amount.
Actually, what the county has been doing is divesting itself and gifting the radio equipment that it owned to the individual departments that own the radios now. So any of the older radio equipment that was out there in the past that the county was paying a monthly service charge on was gifted to the departments, and they picked up the responsibility, I believe it was September 1st, Bob? Remember?
Yes.
I believe it was September 1st, but it was not a lot, of equipment. So we're not talking about a lot of equipment. And the truth of the matter is,
Every department
you don't know when it's going to, you know, what it's going to need in terms of service.
All right, so the fire departments know that the communications gear, that that you guys already have it.
They own their
Okay.
own radios.
They actually purchase and service their own radios as well. So
Yep.
what the county equipment that they had, this is kind of a drag forward from an older mutual aid plan, when the county really was, years ago, supplying a good portion of the radio equipment that was out there.
All right, yeah, I
I
just
hope
want to,
that helps. It's not, it's not, I'm not trying to be evasive, but you just,
it helps a little. I just, it's just kind of vague, but I understand it's,
yeah,
you
dropping
know, a work in
dropping a
progress.
portable radio in a puddle, or, having a car accident where the radio gets trashed, usually is an insurable kind of.
In insurance, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's covered under small equipment, under their insurance policy. And majority of the fire, and that's kind of the other reason why the county's gotten away from, one, we're the bureau, we don't really have the power to keep buying radios for volunteer fire departments. We would like to, once we go with our new radio system, but, so really, we've given it back to the fire chiefs and the commissioners, and to allow them to buy their own. A lot of departments have gone on their own, have already bought, and are way better equipment than the county supplied them to begin with, so,
And they can use that equipment on the mutual aid scenes?
absolutely. Yeah, there's some fire departments, such as Mapac Falls, is outfitted with, portables, right, chief? Where they can talk
Okay.
to Westchester County and that sort of thing.
He's on duty,
Yeah,
that's why.
yeah. Okay, all right. Sue, did you have any other
No.
questions?
Nope.
Jonathan, any questions?
You had mentioned Westchester County. Do we have a mutual aid agreement with the other municipalities that we respond to in Westchester County? Or is it basically covered by the state law that says you're kind of going on?
It would be the state
Okay.
mobilization plan. A great example, like fire in Orange County yesterday.
Everybody responds to
Deputy
it.
Commissioner Lipton received a phone call from the state saying, this is what we have, this is who's moving. Just alert you guys, Dutchess County's moving in. We would have been next on the list to start moving apparatus
Okay.
to the state mobilization plan.
And then in regards to the communication lines, this is probably a decade back, we started transition over to like the truncated systems, things like that. Are we at the peak of technology now with all of our departments and VACs here in Putnam County? Or is that what we're hoping to get to, and that's gonna be the large?
That's what we're hoping to get to.
Okay.
That's the purpose of the towers and
Right.
the microwaves and.
So each department could realistically expect to put a few $1,000s in annually to their communication budget so that they could get these updated systems, updated radios that are on these better frequencies that'll give
Absolutely.
much better communications for first responders.
I just think your estimate's a little low.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Yeah, well,
it's definitely low.
I know when we were looking, I think
It's
we were looking,
definitely
and
low.
this is 10 years ago, at like a $35,000 buy-in from every department. This was Lower Westchester.
Yeah.
So-
So you would know.
Not even sure what the
you know
numbers
with
look like
The
right
trunking
now.
radios in Westchester, how expensive they
So
are.
Yeah, exactly.
The distinction is, though, the normal everyday mutual aid that may be going on across the border between, say, Somers and Mayapack, or Somers and Mayapack Falls, it's covered under the plan, but it's a different kind of an arrangement. It's normally done by the 911 center in Putnam calling 60 Control in Westchester and asking for, additional resources. But anytime something gets as big as yesterday's incident, it loops to the state and goes from county to county and back down, and they kind of look at the whole thing. So the state actually brings a lot of resources in terms of
On those larger incidents.
foam units and cause and origin as well.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I believe the board members' questions were answered. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Thank you to the fire departments for being in attendance tonight. So I believe we can move forward with this. Is this going to be by resolution? By resolution? All right. So next,
Consider it on the 5th, 6th, whatever your next,
yeah, I think it's the 5th.
6th.
All right. So we'll have a resolution done for I think it's the 6th, December 6th.
December 6th.
Yeah, Wednesday, December 6th.
Okay, that's great, because we do need to move it along
All right.
before the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, Greg will, council prepared a resolution for the board, and we'll vote on it
Okay,
on that date.
excellent, thank
All
you.
right?
Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ken. All right. Okay. All right, thanks for being here, gentlemen. If you want to stay for the remainder of the meeting, you can. If not, I don't blame you. Take off tonight.
stiffs.
Be well. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Yep, take care. All right. Okay, next item on the agenda, actually 1 and 2. I'm sorry, 1 is the review of the town board minutes of 11:1, 11:8, 11:15. Does the town board have any comments on those dates? If not, we're going to move on to number 1. Number 1 is Mary Ann Maxwell, the town controller. This is to consider budget revisions for September, October 2017. That's number 2017/6. Hey, Mary Ann.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. These are the budget revisions for September and October 2017. Number 1 in the general fund is to provide for the deposit for the purchase of the land located at tax map 76.5-1-49, which is downtown Mahopac near Swan Cove, or called Swan Cove. And the transfer is coming from a fund balance that was set up in 2016 that had $750,000 in there. So we're transferring $100,000 for the down payment or for the deposit on that land. Number 2 is to provide and transfer for police overtime expense. $28,147 is coming from revenue that was received from workers' comp claims, and $50,000 is being transferred from the police personnel line. Number 3, we're transferring $15,000. We're providing actually $15,000 into the youth self-sustained program. This is coming from revenue that we've collected for those programs in the recreation department. Number 5, in the general fund, we're transferring for the settlement of an agreement reimbursing New York's NYPD for the training costs for a police officer. The training cost was negotiated to a settlement of $18,500. That transfer is coming from another police line in the police budget. Number 9, in the general fund, we're transferring for miscellaneous recreation expenses within the recreation budget. In the highway fund, number 11 on page 1, we're transferring for machinery repair expenses. The total transfer is $30,000, and that's coming from other lines in the machinery repair budget. On page 2, we're providing and transferring for miscellaneous Lake Cassie expenses in the Lake Cassie Park District budget. In the Lake Mahopac Park District budget, we're transferring for miscellaneous Lake Mahopac expenses of $2,000. Lake Secor Park District, we're also transferring for miscellaneous Lake Secor expenses of $1,600. Carmel Water District number 8, we're transferring for emergency repairs of $30,000. That's also coming from other lines within that budget. Carmel Water District number 10 and 13, we're also transferring for emergency repairs within those districts. Carmel Sewer District number 2, we're transferring for contractual repairs. And Carmel Sewer District number 5, we're transferring $8,000 for engineering services. In the general debt fund, we're providing $200,000 for a band principal payment. That's coming from the fund balance in that district. In the highway debt fund, we're providing and transferring for band principal and interest payments, $205,000 in principal and $21,000 in interest. That's also coming from the fund balance in those districts, in that district. The Long Pond Road Improvement District, we're providing for a band interest payment of $14,470. Carmel Sewer District number 1, we're providing for a band interest payment, as well as in Carmel Sewer District number 3. Carmel Sewer District number 7, we're providing and transferring for a band interest payment. This money is coming from the Carmel Sewer District Capital Fund, which we received $90,000 from an insurance claim. That was for the roof repair in that sewer district.
That was sewer 7?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's it. Any questions?
Oh, that's it, Mary Ann, for the
Yes.
budget revisions? Okay. Board, any questions for Mary Ann regarding the revisions she just went over? No. All right, thanks, Mary Ann. You could go on to the next item, is to consider delinquent sewer and water relevies as of 11/16/17.
Correct. Every year, we provide a relevy to the county on delinquent water and sewer outstanding payments. As of 11/16, the total outstanding water delinquent amounts was $242,244, and the out-of-district sewer and water delinquencies were $5,528, so a total of $247,772 as of 11/16 is delinquent. We are still collecting these, and we'll get an updated report before this is adopted. I'll get a report to the board. This is just to give an idea of what's outstanding. You can see there's 50 pages of, and what these are water and sewer that are delinquent prior to, they haven't paid since June of this year. So we're not levying anything that's current. It's anything that is 90 days past due. Okay, so there's a list here that shows, it's 50 pages of delinquent water bills. And what happens is it goes on the town and county tax bills, and the county makes us whole on those, on these amounts.
Then the county collects from the...
And the county then collects it on the taxes.
On the taxes.
Okay? So I will be getting an updated report to the board. The tax receiver will give me an update as of November 30th, and then I have to get this to the county by December 8th.
Okay.
So,
All right, Mary Ann, great, thanks.
okay?
Thank you, yep. Any
Thank
questions
you.
for Mary Ann on this? We do this every year, so it's, yeah, all right. Thanks a lot. Have a good night, Mary Ann. All right, next, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the remainder of the agenda items are the town engineer, Rich Franzetti's.
And number 3 is a great segue that Mary Ann just said, all of the delinquent water meters.
Yeah.
And now, the next item that Rich is going to talk about, water meters.
Water meters.
Good evening.
Okay, Rich, this is consider request to award bid for the purchase and installation of townwide water meters. Take it away, Rich.
Okay, once I'm able to open this. Yep. So bids for contract C241, which is the furnishing of water meters and related items for Carmel Water Districts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 14. Were publicly opened and recorded by the town on October 26th, 2017, and bids for C248 for the same water district, which is the installation of said water meters, were opened and recorded on the town on November 14th, 2017. The scope of the work for the furnishing of the meters involves the purchasing of cellular-based water meters for Carmel Water Districts, and the scope of the work for C248 is the installation of those meters. A detailed summary of the bid was provided in your information package tonight, but the following the table provides information of the bids received. For 241, there were 3 bidders. Core and Main at $1.355276 million. Schmitz Wholesale at $1.718165 million, and Rio Supply at $1,998,627. With C248 had 2 bidders that came in, National Metering Services at $708,725, and East National Water at $1,067,404. For contract C241, it was determined that the apparent low bidder did not meet the specifications. Therefore, the department proceeded with checking qualifications for the second lowest bidder and the third lowest bidder, which were Schmitz Wholesale and Rio Supply. And for C248, it was determined that the apparent low bidder did meet the specifications, and the department proceeded with checking the qualifications for both bidders. Based on the evaluation of the bid amounts, the experience of the bidders, company profile information, and project references, we recommend that contract C241 be awarded to Schmitz Wholesale, and that contract 248 be awarded to National Metering Services, as they are the lowest bids, responsible bidders for the projects. So the bid that they came in was a radio read system, and we were speccing a cellular-based system.
Gotcha, thank you.
All right. And just for full disclosure, Schmitz Wholesale, I'm not related to them at all. In fact, the name is spelled with a D, and I have 2 Ts. So those who think that I have something to do with Schmitz Wholesale of water meters, I do not. Any further questions? John, do you have anything on the water meters and the install? Frank, anything? Okay. Susie, John, anything further?
No, there's a lot of information that I just need to go over.
Okay.
I'll speak with Rich.
Okay.
If I have any questions.
I'm available whenever you need to.
Okay. All righty, thanks. So this is for, and this has been discussed for, I guess it will be a couple of years now, John, right?
Sadly.
Where the board first became aware of this at an Association of Towns event that myself, John, and Susie attended. That was really the impetus for this, and this got it really going, where we began the process of moving along or proposing this project of installing water meters throughout the town, the radio read meters. So the homeowners are no longer, once these meters are installed, the homeowner is not going to have to physically locate the meter. A lot of people don't even know where they are located in their homes, and some of them they can't get to because of crawl spaces.
Hence why we have delinquent.
Yeah,
water bills.
and John, right, John's correct, and that's why you see all these delinquent water bills, because people they're not physically reading their meters, and they get an estimated water bill, and in a lot of cases, the estimated water bill is not covering the actual water usage, and the cost is much higher than what the estimated cost was, as opposed to the actual use. So this will eliminate the homeowner from actually having to fill out the meter card that we currently mail them with the meter reading on it. So this will eliminate that. The reading will be transmitted to our water department over the airways, because these are radio read meters. They're going to be off of communication towers, and that reading will be delivered to the controller's office that handles the water districts and is responsible for the billing of water usage. So it's going to be more efficient, more effective, and less work for the homeowner, other than just having to pay the bill. So hopefully when these are installed, this will be a lot thinner next year. If they're installed next year and they're up and running, and the homeowners, actually pay their water bills, I guess. Right. They still have to pay, yeah, exactly. So well, hopefully this will help with that. We're hoping. Okay. All right, Rich, thanks so much on item number 3. 4, this is to consider request to accept proposals for the duct cleaning in town hall in this building right here. Rich?
So as you mentioned, the supervisor, you had requested that the engineering department seek proposals for duct cleaning in the HVAC system in Town Hall, including this meeting room. We received 3 proposals: Robinson at $5,500, Life Air Care at $7,000, and Duct Duster at $12,532. The department contacted references provided by Robinson with the following results. Both Dan Brophy, he's within the town of Greenberg, that Robinson performed duct cleaning, was satisfied with the performance and is hiring Robinson back for more work. And an office manager for Westchester Vascular, a 2-story commercial building, says they were happy with the performance and that there was a difference in the air quality after the work was performed. Based on the above, we recommend that this work be awarded to Robinson for the amount stated, and per the attached correspondence from the town controller, sufficient funds exist for the payment of this work.
Okay, Rich, thanks. Thanks so much for looking into this and vetting them out, getting the proposals. It needs to be done. This building the ducts haven't been cleaned in quite some time, so we need to take care of that. Any questions or comments regarding the duct cleaning?
Your cousin Schmidt Ductwork didn't want to submit a bill?
No, Schmidt's Ductwork didn't want to submit a proposal on this. And they're going to sanitize them too? Is that what the other part of it is?
Yes, it's all part of that whole process.
Cleaning, sanitizing? Okay.
Correct.
That was the question I had, because Robinson's the only one who didn't list out sanitizing specifically.
They said that they included it. If it wasn't in their proposal, then we can get it updated to include it, but they said that they do it. It's just They don't even identify it because they do it automatically.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, that was the only question I had.
Yeah, and I had that too when they were looking at the building,
Okay.
giving us the proposal. I said, do you
Yeah,
say
especially because it hasn't been cleaned in,
41 years? Jonathan, since the building was built.
could you imagine treating your house the way that this building's been treated? It's
No.
insane. It's insane. All right. I digress. Thank you.
So it should be, how frequent should it be done, Rich? Did they happen to say every 3, 4, 5 years?
No, they
How often?
didn't mention it, but we're probably keeping on a 5 to 7 year schedule going forward, or, you know, if not, it depends on what the air looks like when we move forward. If we see a lot more dust coming through, then we'll do it on a more frequent basis.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rich. Okay, next item is number 5. It's to consider request to authorize payment for repairs of the Town of Carmel Veterans Memorial. This is located on East Lake Boulevard near McDonald Marina. Rich?
Yes, so as you mentioned, recent inspections by the engineering department and by you, Mr. Supervisor, revealed that the reference memorial was in need of maintenance and repairs. Specifically, the area adjacent to the exterior wall of the memorial had fallen into disrepair. After discussions with the supervisor, this department engaged Ed Cook Excavating to perform the asphalt repairs to this area, along with the repair of one drainage catch basin that was directly within the work area. The bill for the work is $5,950.11, and per the attached correspondence from the town controller, there are sufficient funds to pay this invoice. We are requesting authorization to have this invoice paid. The work has already been performed.
Okay, thanks, Rich. And I just want to mention that I did get, prior to the work being done, I did receive calls from some residents and also some veterans that were concerned about the condition of the memorial. So upon inspection of it, it was determined that this work needed to be done, and Ed Cook did a great job. And the veterans that were at the Veterans Day ceremony on the 11th, they noticed it, and they were very appreciative that the town actually stepped in and took this action to clean that up and to make it safe, because there were a couple of areas where the pavement was broken and cracking, and the catch basin that was replaced was damaged as well. So it needed this work. It probably hadn't, that maintenance hadn't been done on that memorial in quite some time, and it needed to be done. So we took care of it. It's something that I think is important for the town to help our veterans, at least to maintain their memorial. Is something that we can do. So I'm glad it was done. It looks great now. Going forward, they indicated to me that they're going to be maintaining as far as the cleaning of the memorial. They're going to take responsibility for that, as far as the weeds and brush and anything else, trimming of any trees that happen to be in there. So this is great. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it. Is there any questions, comments regarding this invoice for Ed Cook for the work that he did at the memorial? Okay, there being none, let's move on to the next one, Rich, number 6. Consider request to authorize payment for operation and maintenance services for the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation.
So as the board is aware, the town of Carmel is a member of the East Hudson Watershed Corporation, which is made up of 19 municipalities in Dutchess, Putnam, and Westchester, and it was established as a regional stormwater entity in response to the New York State DEC's heightened phosphorus removal requirements. The East Hudson Watershed Corporation does administer and install regional stormwater retrofits with funding made available by the New York City DEP. The member municipalities are collectively achieving compliance with requirements through bubble compliance, regardless of the physical location of the retrofits. East of Hudson, that we had approved, that the town board had approved earlier, had an O&M policy by each municipality, has to maintain the SRPs that will be installed. The town adopted this policy in February of 2016. Due to bubble compliance, the town is required to pay for O&M based on the overall phosphorus reduction, not just the stormwater retrofits installed in town. And the East of Hudson provides the O&M for the stormwater retrofits located in town. East of Hudson has given us an invoice of $10,105.67 for the O&M performed in 2016. And per the attached correspondence from our controller, there are sufficient funds in the budget to pay for this invoice. So we recommend that this invoice be paid.
Okay. All right, any questions, comments, concerns for the engineer regarding the payment to the East Hudson Watershed Corporation? This is for the MS4 stormwater compliance. It's part of the O&M that we have to, all the towns are billed for this O&M cost, and it's based on the size of the municipality and the amount of
It's based on the amount of
Phosphorus that's
phosphorus that they have to remove, and some towns are getting a credit, some towns are making a payment. So in our case, we don't have as much phosphorus retrofits in the town of Carmel, so we are basically, with bubble compliance, relying on other communities who have more than what they are required to have. They are maintaining theirs, but we don't have it. So we have about 30 kilograms of phosphorus removal, and we required 72. So there's 42 kilograms of phosphorus somewhere else in the watershed that is being captured and treated and maintained by another community, and therefore we're helping fund for that O&M. If we had it all in the town of Carmel, we would either do the O&M ourselves, or, we'd have somebody come in and we'd have to pay for it, but then other folks, other communities would have to pay us because we would be carrying the weight for that.
carrying the kilograms.
Correct.
More. Okay. All right, great. All right, there being no further questions or comments on this item, we're going to go on to number 7. This is the final agenda item. This is a request to award a bid for the cleaning services in the town hall.
So bids were received for the reference contract on Wednesday, November 15th at 11 a.m. This is contract C-249, Town Hall Cleaning Services. They were opened by the town clerk. A copy of the bid opening results has been provided to the board. The scope of work involves cleaning services for the town hall, including the police department. 3 bids were received. Apple Maintenance Services at $139,973.89. CTE Reliable Cleaning at $160,180, and Tri-Green Maintenance at $221,377.29. Based on our review, we recommend that the contract be awarded to Apple Maintenance, the company that we've been in contract with since April of 2016 and have found their performance to be satisfactory. This award would be for calendar years 2018 and 2019, with the unilateral option on the part of the town for 2 additional 1-year extensions. The totals above are based on 4 years of performance.
Right. That's what I was going to mention.
Town hall cleaning services have been included in the 2018 budget, and there are sufficient funds per the town controller for this work to be included. And therefore, we request that we award it to Apple Maintenance.
All right, Rich, thank you. And it's important to note that, just for the benefit of the public, that even though you heard $139,973, Rich had mentioned it's for a 4-year, that's for a 4-year cost. So the first year, so 2018 would be $30,540. 2019 would be $31,150. 2020, $31,773. And 2021, $32,409. So there's some slight increases, from year to year, but it's not a significant amount. It's not a large amount. So that 139 is for 4 years. It would be for 4 years if the board agreed to the 2 1-year extensions. That would be 2020 and 2021. Correct, Rich?
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right. Any now, just so the board understands that Apple Maintenance is the current company that's doing our cleaning in the town hall. But what is changing is that they're no longer going to be vacuuming and mopping during business hours. They're currently doing that now, and the vacuum is very disruptive to the town hall, especially when you're trying to do business in your office, and they're either vacuuming in the hallway or in the office adjacent to yours. So, and the mopping should be done after hours as well, because the building is very heavily traveled during the course of the day, and to try to mop a section of the building and then put the sign out, wet floor, and then move it to another location. It just makes sense to do it after hours. So that's what's changed in this contract from the previous contract to this contract, is that type of work is going to be done after hours. The dusting of the offices and any other cleaning that where they need to enter the office is going to be done as well. I think they're going to start at 4 p.m., Rich?
Correct. They're going to start at 4 p.m. They're going to complete your office first and then work on all the other offices afterwards.
Right. So, all right, board, are we good with this? We met with them, by the way, myself, Rich, and Rob, and who else met with us?
Donna.
And Donna met with us with the owners of Apple Maintenance. We met with them and explained to them what we expect from them out of this cleaning contract, and they agreed to the terms and conditions of the contract, and the items that are within the contract, they are going to be held to, and that we're going to make sure that, all these issues are taken care of and all the cleaning is done according to the contract. And they agreed to that. So I'm satisfied that they're going to provide, and I believe collectively we were satisfied that they're going to do a good job. All right? Okay, so that completes the, thanks, Rich.
Thank you, and have a
Yeah.
happy Thanksgiving.
That, yeah, same to you. That completes the agenda items for this evening's Town Board work session. At this time, I'm going to ask any members of the public that are here that would like to come up and speak on any of the agenda items that we covered. I'll come on up at this time. How are you, Judy?
Hi, good, thank you. Hi, everybody. Judy Mira, Carmel. I want to go back to the proposed law. Can I do that, the local law?
Oh, no, we closed that.
That's
closed, yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah.
unfortunately, the agenda is usually posted the night before, late at night. And I left the house 11 o'clock this morning, it still wasn't up, and I was out all day, so I just grabbed it on there and was looking through it and just had some concern, so I can't make any comments on it.
She can ask a question.
Oh, do
She
you
can
have
do
a-
it during
do you-
open session, so I mean, we just, the law's passed, so it's over, but if you want to make a comment or something. I mean,
Question, because in A2, it talks about preserving the health and safety of residents. And I think the concern back a couple of meetings ago was that the owners of a business at 950 Route 6 were concerned.
We don't talk individual properties, that we do
Okay.
not talk
Yeah.
about. We talk
Okay.
about the law, and that's it.
Okay.
Not individual properties, we've said that 3 or 4 times. You can't do that to various residents. You set the town up for lawsuits when that is done, when we're discussing a law.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so how are these covered in regard to where they want to put certain antennas or thing for the safety of people? I mean, I know in putting up certain things, there has to be a distance away. Anything that's structured, erected, has to be within certain feet of people, as you can see. So I'm trying to find the
Yeah.
word so I don't implicate anything, in regard to the safety of what's put out from these antennas.
It's, the law is within the guidelines of the industry that has reviewed it. We copied other municipalities, and, we vetted this out through other agencies.
planner.
And the planner.
Planner, actually.
So-
Expensive vetting.
Just prior to the enactment of the law, you didn't have any process or method to regulate any tower or antenna within the town, other than the FCC Act 1996. There's administrative review of any application, and there's site plan review that goes through the building department and then the planning board. And all the factors that will be considered on site plan review are considered during the course of that process. All right, but before tonight, before this law gets filed in the state, there's still the site plan review, but the standards are not there until you have imposed them within the law.
So on an individual basis, when somebody makes a proposal, you refer to the law to make sure they were within all the guidelines.
Right.
Before that,
Before that, the town had no
Right.
local guidelines for the approval or for permitting of any of these facilities.
Okay, all right, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to
Yes, same
everybody.
to you. Yes, yep, you too. Anybody else on agenda items that we covered this evening? Okay, we're going to open up the floor to general public comment. This is the new open forum, new business portion of the meeting. You must be a resident, a property owner, a taxpayer, business owner to address the town board during this time. Anybody? Yes, sir.
I came tonight because I have a problem with an easement between my property and my dad's property in Carmel here. And the pipe is broken, has holes in it, and...
What was the name, sir?
I'm
name?
sorry, Robert Beanland, and my father's James. He lives next to me. And the easement's been there since like the 60s. And it has a broken pipe with holes in it, and my young son Robbie, he's 13, he's back and forth between properties, and I've always been worried about him twisting his ankle in the easement pipe hole, and, but I've called Mr. Simone about the problem, and I never really got a good response, and then they redid our whole road in 2015, and they fixed some easements at that time.
Did you say what street it was on?
What street?
Lakeview Road off
Is that in Red-
Stoneley, Houston Road.
Is that in Red Oak Ridge, they
Yeah,
call it?
yeah, that's what they call it
Okay.
now. So, I called them about it, and nothing really got done about it, and then, they showed up in 2015 to totally redo the whole road and the drainage. And, I was home at the time, and I saw them fixing easements, and I was like, well, what about my easement? Oh, well, and he was coming by too, and he says, well, we're gonna have to get to that next year. And, I says, well, you know, I've been looking forward to this getting fixed for many years now. And, he says, well, I'll send some guys down and we'll cover it up with dirt this year, and then next year I'll come by and fix it. So I'm like, okay, you know, I wasn't too happy about that, but I was like, I'm gonna take what I can get. So, the following year came by, and nothing happened. I made some calls, 2016, and I guess I just let it slide. I talked to some people, they're like, send a registered letter or something. They're gonna have to get back to you about that. So I sent one this year, and nothing happened. So I sent another one, and nothing happened. So I made a phone call, and I says, you know, what's going on? I sent 2 registered letters about this problem that my family's upset about, and, oh, okay, I'll talk to Mr. Simone about it. And like the next day, his guys showed up. I wasn't home at the time, and they came by and they put soil on top of it again. The last time they put soil on it, it disappeared. It all caved into the broken pipe because it erosion. There's water still flowing through it from a pipe from the road. And I was like, okay. That was kind of annoying, you know, it's just another quick fix. I want this thing fixed. And so then not a few days later, I got a knock on my door from the postman. Here's a letter I had to sign for, and it was a letter from him saying that they abandoned that pipe when they redid the drainage from the road, which is not true.
Who told you that?
He sent me a
Who's
registered
he,
letter,
the
Mr.
highway
Simone.
superintendent?
Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke to him about this? How long ago? Just recently, or?
Oh, this year I have a couple letters that I sent,
Okay.
registered, and then I called his secretary or whatever.
If a pipe was abandoned when they were doing drainage and
drainage.
stuff, is the town engineer aware of like a reconstruction or redesign of it? I mean,
No retrofits out there. No retrofit. That's not a, yeah.
I don't know anything, but I did research. There is the easement on that property, and I did speak with Mike, and you've asked that I go out and inspect the property, so we're planning on either doing it tomorrow or we're doing it on Monday, but it depends on Mike's schedule, so I can go out
okay.
with him and look at it. And we're gonna
Well, yeah, I
inspect-
never heard from you, so I figured I was gonna get pushed away again, so that's why I'm here.
No, what we did was we researched the original files through the county that we have access to, and we were able to locate where the easement is and identify where it is between your father's property and yours.
Yeah.
We're gonna go out and inspect it accordingly. I think it's a 10-foot wide easement at that point in time.
Yeah, well,
And,
the road drain is up here at the road. The actual catch basin is between the properties, this big block with
Right,
a
so-
plate on top.
Right, so we're gonna go out and take a look at
That pipe
that.
goes under the road somewhere. Maybe it's bringing water from the mountain under that road, I don't know.
Right.
And it's all running down, and putting a couple inches of topsoil on top is not gonna fix, I just want a new pipe put in. If you can't get rid of that catch basin, because it could be very well needed, at least fix the pipe and put a nice plastic pipe. This pipe is protruding above the ground. This is my kid with the lawnmower with his foot in the hole. And I don't want him mowing the lawn near that. I don't even want him going near that. I've got an orange cone there, because he rides a little quad too in the properties, and I'm afraid he's gonna drive over that or get hurt. So,
So it sounds like the engineering department is gonna go out and assess it.
Right, and then,
Take a look at it.
and then the highway department will probably make repairs if the pipe needs to be repaired, or remove it if it seems to be removed, because there was a lot of drainage work done on the road, according to what
Yeah,
Mike said.
that's just for water drain, road drainage, so this, I think, has something to do with, something natural maybe that ran through there in the, when they built the neighborhood in the sixties.
Right.
This thing might be carrying water under the road from somewhere, I don't know, because I was there when they lifted up the metal plate. This thing goes like 15 feet down to a pipe hole that's way beneath the road, and it's delivering water from somewhere, and it's going straight down between our properties through this old rusted rotten pipe that's eroding, and actually the pipe is actually on my property. When they put it in the 60s, it's not even straight down, it's actually over onto my property, and it's eroding the dirt and from my actual property. It's not even positioned right. It's straight. Anyway, if you look at where the pipe is at the end of my property, and you look at the box, it's going way over like this. It's not even straight down as a real, as it might be on a survey or something, you know.
But we'll take a look at it.
And then at the end of this pipe, the end of the pipe fell apart years ago, like 10 feet or so of the pipe. So it's landing right on the property, and it's creating a worn-out hole, and then it goes down onto the reservoir, New York City property. So it's eroding the area before it even gets off the properties, because it doesn't go all the way to the end anymore. The pipe fell off. So that's,
Okay.
We're gonna
That's why
take a
I'm here.
look.
So
We'll assess-
So Mike
we'll
and
report
Rich are
back
gonna
to
be
the
going
homeowner.
out
okay,
there.
sounds great.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Nice meeting you all.
Yeah, and Rich, do me a favor, whatever your findings are, whatever your determination is, can somebody please reach out? You have his
Yes,
Mr.
I have his
Beelan's
contact information.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
We
so,
spoke earlier this week.
Yeah, I didn't recognize, I never met you, but nice to meet you. I'm glad that you're gonna, try and help me out.
all right, thank you. All right. Is there anybody else for a new business, open forum portion of the meeting? There being none, we're gonna move on. Okay, we have some community announcements that we're going to be making. We're going to start with Susie.
Sure. The Greater Mahopac Carmel Chamber of Commerce presents Holiday in the Park. The festivities begin at 4:30 at the Mahopac Carmel Chamber Park on November 25th, 2017. You have a tree lighting, a visit from Santa, caroling, special attractions for the family. So again, it is November 25th at 4:30 p.m. at the Chamber Park.
Okay, I'm up. Mahopac Falls Volunteer Fire Department, it's the annual Christmas tree lighting, Friday, December 1st at 7 o'clock. Santa will arrive at 7:30. All are welcome to come down, see Santa, and help Santa light our Christmas tree to ring in the holiday spirit. Again, please join us and enjoy food and refreshments and cookies. Again, that is Mahopac Falls annual Christmas tree lighting, Friday, December 1st at 7 p.m. at the Volunteer Fire Department, Mahopac Falls.
Great, thanks, John. Jonathan?
December 2nd, Saturday at 4 p.m. is going to be a New England Christmas celebration at the Union Valley Cemetery Chapel located at 730 Union Valley Road in Mahopac. It's going to be to welcome the holiday season in by singing traditional Christmas carols accompanied by the Westchester Putnam Youth Symphony String Quartet. Holiday refreshments will be served. If there's inclement weather, listen to WHUD for the snow date to be announced. That would be December 3rd, the day after at 4 p.m. And if you want more information, you can contact Wendy at worthingtonlabradors03@gmail.com. All right, that's your cue.
Okay, Frank.
Also on December 2nd, in the Hamlet of Carmel, is the Holiday on the Lake Parade and Tree Lighting. There's a scheduled event that run from 8 a.m. Right through the parade and the tree lighting at 7:45, including the pancake breakfast at the Firehouse, Reed Memorial Library, readings with Santa. The Knights of Columbus has family fun activities, Cornerstone Park, caroling, live music, Santa stroll, and from 6:30 to 7:30 is the Parade of Lights, and 7:30 to 7:45 is the caroling and tree lightings on the lake. Included is Holiday Bazaar, craft fairs and events at St. James School, Drew Methodist Church, and the VFW Memorial Hall.
Great, thanks, Frank. And Santa is coming to the town of Carmel. The Mahopac Falls, and Carmel Volunteer Fire Departments is their annual candy cane run is Saturday, December 9th, 2017. The bravest will be escorting Santa Claus all around town via fire engines to deliver candy canes to the residents in the town of Carmel. We're also collecting for the Toys for Tots program. If you would like to contribute to one of our elves will be graciously accept a new unwrapped toy during this event. Please be advised that our arrival may be delayed due to any fire, rescue, medical emergency that we must respond to. When you hear the sirens coming, that means Santa Claus is in the neighborhood. Please pair your children, get them ready for when you see the fire truck coming up the street. Stay off the roadway until the fire truck stops, and Santa will be handing out candy canes to your children throughout the neighborhood. So it's a great event that they do every year, and I'd like to thank the fire departments for that. We do have notice of vacancies. The town board, the town of Carmel, is looking for interested and qualified persons to fill vacancies on the Board of Assessment Review. There's 3 vacancies, and the Ethics Board, there is 1 vacancy. Also, our Alarm Review Board is 1 vacancy. Please submit a letter of interest and resume to the supervisor's office by December 18th. That's a Monday, to Supervisor Ken Schmidt, Carmel Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York. You can fax it to 628-6836 or email it to amp2@ci.carmel.ny.us. For additional information, please check our website at www.carmelny.org. And I announced this last week. This is the Breakfast with Santa event. This is taking place on December 10th at Sycamore Park. It's at 790 Long Pond Road in Mahopac. The price is $9 for residents ages 2 and up. Join us for breakfast, crafts, and more. A great photo opportunity. To be sure to bring your camera. Reservations are required. That's the important part of this notice, is reservations are required. You can't just show up that day. Space is limited, so sign up early. Go online at www.carmelny.org/recreation or /recreation. For more information, please call the rec office at 628-7888. That's Breakfast with Santa on December 10th. You need to make reservations for that. Okay, and that's all I have. We do have one executive session item came up late this afternoon. We were not able to post it on the agenda. We do have to go into executive session
I had one thing to add.
Oh, you had one thing to add for announcements?
Yeah, just as far, I've noticed, and I've heard from some residents in the Lake Cassie district, now that the weather is getting bad, there's been some additional power outages happening, I think more recently, like 2 days ago. And with the cold weather, especially at night, I'm suggesting that the town send a letter to the district office of NYSEG, and perhaps even a phone call to someone, district manager. Listen, normal weather, I understand things happen, but maybe they need to look at some of the trees and whatnot surrounding some power lines in certain areas, and if they are deemed dead or close to being dead and bringing down power lines, they should be removed so people in our town, and especially in that one community, are not afflicted night after night with no power. Most of the houses here are run on electric heat, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I'm asking that the town send a letter, or Kenny, you can make a phone call as well, and see if we can get that done.
I have a contact person.
We should do a letter.
That,
Yeah. Both.
Yeah. That I communicate with on issues involving NYSEG throughout the community. And one of the things is, and I emphasized this the last time I spoke with the representative, is that their tree trimming operations, I think they're lax on that.
I actually said that about 7 years ago.
I think they need to step it up with that program, because I just don't think they're doing enough tree trimming in town. And that's why during these storm events, we're having limbs come down, trees come down, and as soon as the limb come down, it takes the wires with it, and then that's it. And so, we had a tree down on Croton Falls Road a couple of weeks ago that 1,300 customers were out for 12 hours.
Right.
It snapped the pole, took the primaries down, the transformer went down, and that was it. So I agree with you, Frank. We can, I'll draft a letter, and I'll send it off to NYSEG. I'll copy the board on what I'm sending out, and they're pretty
And
responsive. but-
CC the Lake Cassie Park, Lake Association.
Yeah.
This way, at least they can see that we're trying to help them
Agreed.
resolve that.
Yeah, I did read something that somebody put on Facebook about it not too long ago.
Power going out, correct.
That power's been going out on a regular basis, and they're not too happy about it, and I understand why. I mean, obviously.
I have,
Is it?
Next week's the 5th Wednesday.
Yes, it's the fifth Wednesday.
yeah,
Right.
I have one announcement. Notice of vacancies. The Town Board of Town of Carmel is looking for interested and qualified persons to fill vacancies on. You did?
Yeah, I did.
She was talking to me.
Yeah.
Don't blame it on me.
She was talking to me.
I know it was Susie.
No, but then
Yeah.
I do have a second one, question for Councilman Schneider. You know, we've been talking about fire budgets, fire department budgets. We're talking about mutual aid agreements, and to look at all aspects of how things are handled. Are we looking into or going to have a public hearing soon on fire districts versus fire protection districts?
If I set the agendas, absolutely. At least for a work session item to get information so that the public can differentiate everything and figure out exactly what the structures are, who's responsible for what, where fiscal responsibilities lie, what's open to the public, what's not open to the public. I think it would be a great idea to get a lot of information out there in regards to the different options that you have for administering the first responders.
Just for an information
Yeah,
meeting to the public,
absolutely.
I think we should do it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think we should.
But thank you for putting me on the spot. I would have had something at
Yeah.
least set up at that point if I had known you were going to ask.
I do apologize, you're the expert.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, watch out for that bus.
Yeah, here comes the bus. Yeah, I was actually, Jonathan and I spoke about this. We were going to put it
Do
on
you want to read this again?
an upcoming work session agenda, I guess. We'll
I
do
think it would
then.
be, yeah, nice.
Do you want to do it in December, or wait until the new year to do it?
That's your
You
agenda.
want, all right, so I'll make the determination? Okay, all right. Okay,
I think it would be a very good idea to
Yeah.
have
yeah,
rep from Pinsky firm here
I need to see
in order to
the
give
job,
us
Frank.
all of the pertinent,
I need to see
updated
Louis.
legislation and information pertaining to it.
Correct.
okay, all right, great. We need to go into executive session to discuss a new litigation.
Oh, and we will not be having a meeting next Wednesday, being the
Right,
fifth
it's
Wednesday
the
of the
fifth
month?
Wednesday, thanks, Jonathan. We're not meeting next Wednesday. It's the fifth Wednesday of the month, we're off. We won't be back until December 6th, I think it is, yeah. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Yes, have a happy.
I said
She seconded it.
No, she's second. All those in favor to go into
Aye.
executive session. We're going to be closing the meeting from there. We'll see you on December 6th. Good night, everyone, be well. Don't eat too much turkey on Thursday.